Okay, we are live. Let's just straighten out this camera and make sure you can see exactly what we're doing or not doing. Right, that's good. Actually, right, let me just show you the edge of this bench. Look, while it's in view. That is what we're doing today. We're tidying up that mess in the corner of the bench, which are all component parts for ready-to-wear stock items. Well, right, welcome to Robertson Co, live from London. Live at 5, a little bit late as usual. We're going to have a little live jewellery making session. I've got all these component parts here. From a distance it doesn't look like a lot, but there's more than I thought there was. There's all these little rings here. There's a few things here, but I've made loads of these rings at some point. I mean, they've been here so long, some of them are beginning to tarnish. So yeah, those rings are, we've already made some of these this week. They are, let me show you, they are component parts for these T-bar pendants. So yeah, rather than just sticking them in a bag in a drawer, let's make some T-bar pendants. Always popular. And that will get rid of some of this mess. As it's gone 5, we'll have beer. What are we having tonight? Stara Pramen, established in Prague. Boom. Perfectly balanced, according to Stara Pramen. Right. Off-brand glass there. Aspirants. What's that? Cider. This is a cider company, isn't it? Look at that. I think this is a pint glass. Looks can be deceiving. Put that there. Oh, we need to turn on the YouTube copyright-free music. Let's try the Stara Pramen first. Yeah, perfectly balanced. Right, let's get the YouTube music on. Copyright free. Background. There we go. Right, I've got this rod. This is sterling silver rod. You see that there? That we're going to make these out of. So I think I'm going to make some 2 centimetre ones. They're the most popular size. Made quite a few this week. I think I made over 20 already this week in live streams. But there you go. There you go. So we need some 2 centimetre rods. I'm using a V-block. Not a jewellery specific tool. This is not. That would be the jewellery specific version. Chenier clamp. I think that's quite a fancy one. Or it was. I think it's a cheap copy of a fancy one is what that is. Should have a handle on it, but I took it off. There's a thread attachment for it there. So it's just, I don't know, they come with a handle. Even when I was using those, I was using it on the bench peg like that. So yeah, I took the handle off. I think this one has like a cheap wooden handle threaded into it anyway. So yeah, that's gone. But I actually like these. I got this in a job lot of tools. I can't remember. I'm sure, I think it might have been some fly press tooling. It's got a little clamp there if you want, but these are really for, I guess, people working with metals that are harder than precious metals. If I was to use that on this, you'd know about it. But you can hold them down really well with your finger. centimetres. I use a pair of side cutters, one to mark where I need to cut, but it also gives you a nice little, it's not very deep, just a mark. I'll show you. You see that? Focus. There we go. Just a little notch. But it also gives the, helps the saw blade just start. So it's just slightly less prone to skating across the surface. That little nick in it, notch. See, it serves two purposes. Rather than using dividers or a scriber, they quite easily and accurately mark where we need to cut. And provide a nice little start for the saw. Choosing to cut too far on these. This is a medium by jewelry standards. Yeah, I'm just using these little inexpensive Japanese side cutters. I don't know what make these are. I really like these though. Made in Japan. I've got these ones here as well. These are made by a company called Hosan number 31s. They make pretty cool little side cutters. I'd say they're as good as the Swedish style ones, and can cost considerably less, the Japanese ones. They also break less. The Swedish ones are real fragile. I've broken loads of them. There's a particular oblique model that I use for cutting when I'm making jump rings. I find them really useful. Forever, I wouldn't say forever, but they only last a few years. But the Japanese don't do the style of cutter I'm talking about. Yeah, I can show you. I will show you what I mean. So yeah, these are the style. Brand today, Lindstrom. Like a fancy oblique cut, you can see. There's the previous ones, and even these ones. Now there is a possibility, I don't know if you can make out there, but the blade's completely shot. Like on the end where I was pushing it, I use it to cut like things of wire. So the blade there's chipped off. These ones completely snapped off. And these are my latest ones. Now there is a possibility, I've been buying these off of eBay. And they're still relatively expensive, but so there is the distinct possibility that they're not real. But they look real. I've definitely bought ones that I know for a fact are from a reputable seller, so they were real, and they look something. You know, they look and feel right. They look and feel right. They're not. I don't believe they're Chinese copies of Swedish things. I think they are the real deal, and they're just real fragile. Well, as you can see, I've got at least. I've broken at least 3 of them in recent years. Yeah, full disclosure, I bought them off eBay, so there is a... There are some unscrupulous sellers on that platform. Yeah, I like those oblique cutters, the oblique-ended cutters, for when you've got the coils of jump rings, just getting in between you can get them in between the coils and snip them off. But every time I end up buying them, like I said, I buy them on eBay, but like you can see, I often end up, like I've never managed to find the exact same pattern of it. Like I managed to get oblique ends, but all 3 of those were slightly different. Also because I'm buying from different people, whoever's got some going cheap at the time, so they always end up slightly different. I think they're 50 quid if you pay full price for them. And yeah, all three of those that are broken, because I know they break, I keep them for that particular job, and they have been used exclusively on either 0.6 or 0.8 round silver or gold wire. That's it. And they still snap the jaw off. And I've probably had the same Japanese ones, used them for all sorts of things I shouldn't be using for over that same period, and they haven't even blunted yet. So yeah, when it comes to side cutters, I'd recommend the Japanese. What I might try actually is I might try the Indian or Pakistan copies of the Lindstrom cutters and see how they work. I think the problem with those is the handles look the same, but the tips are not as fine. But I think the only thing they've really managed to copy well is the white plastic handles. Let's do one more. I think 6 would be a good amount. Six should earn us enough money for our pint of Staroprana. Beer money. Just follow the end off of this and I'll give you a little close up of the progress so far. So each one of these bars now needs 2 rings soldered onto it, and each one of those in turn will need a bail made. The jump ring's already made. So there we go. 6 2cm bars. Cut them a fraction over 2 centimeters so that we can polish off the ends nicely. It'll still be 2 centimeters long. So let's fit a ring to each one's. Turn this down a bit. I made a lot of these rings. Fit. show you that. They're not centered yet. I'll center them as we go. There we go. Ring on each one. Made to measure. So now we need to solder another ring on. This hasn't made the dent in the pile of rings I'd hoped it would. There's still probably at least 100. Let's hope T-bar sales pick up and we can use them all up. Christmas is coming. The torch gone. Let's add some gas to this. They're a little bit more powerful when they're freshly gassed. Which for some jobs you don't want. But for this job, a little bit extra power helps. Nailed that one for this time. solder on that one's behaving very strangely. Might be because I'm sweating. It's still quite warm in here, although it is getting colder now. Wearing long trousers for the first time in probably about 3 months today. But that might be why I'm sweating. But yeah, autumn's definitely on its way. It's not quite time to dust off the Canada Goose jacket yet. Yeah, the clothing retailers are very lucky in that respect. We don't have the same sort of comparable thing in the jewelry industry. Well, I suppose to some extent it's much less noticeable, but you know, I suppose people do tend to wear, you know, beaded jewelry. And the more sort of beads and friendship bracelets and stuff with their flip-flops, as opposed to fine jewellery. You know, it's not like it's not a complete wardrobe change. I suppose what the fashion industry will never have is both the sentimental and intrinsic value. Their pieces will never as valuable as the latest fancy leather handbags is in financial terms. You know, it never. For some reason, they never really seem to, even if it was a gift from a long lost granny, it never seems to achieve the same talismanic value that jewellery does for some reason. But on the same token, being irreplaceable is where the fashion industry wins, because their stuff is it is replaced every season. yeah, from my experience of the actual jewellery trade as a whole, the retail side of things has been obsessed by the fashion industry the whole time I've been involved. As far as retail goes, as snobby as the jewellers are, I think they would never admit it, but I think they're envious of the footfall that the fashion retailers get. Constantly trying to align the jewellery industry with the fashion industry, which is a waste of time. I mean, when I started, there weren't really jewellery brands as such. Not like there are today. And the shop-in-shop things. There were obviously the Rolexes and the watch brands existed, but there wasn't really that many. I'm trying to think. It was really the retailers were the brand as opposed to the products. And then your Pandoras came along and your Lynx, and what was the company that bought Lynx? The Greek business. Maybe not talk about that, it was a disaster. I think some of the retailers are trying to become brands in their own right. I mean, you've obviously always had your Tiffany's and your Cartiers, and you can't really include Fabergé in that because they disappeared and came back German after selling aftershave for decades. But yeah, I can't really think of anyone that's done the branding thing, the jewellery branding thing. Particularly well. In an iconic way. There must be some brand. They tend to be wrapped up in celebrities' identities. You know, they just use celebrity endorsement. And Cartier's is a good example of that. I suppose Tiffany's had a good thing going with the designer they had. I can't remember the woman's name. Which shows how good that was. But she did come out, I can't remember her name, but she had some good designs. I think she was a model, wasn't she? Became a jewellery designer. Was she a model for Houston? Turned jewellery designer for Tiffany's. Yeah, the issue with celebrity endorsement, obviously thinking ahead, it strikes me as one, it definitely works, or it has in the past. It works, gets eyes on. But it's also, they can be very problematic. They're forever getting cancelled, doing dumb things, saying dumb things. But then again, so am I. But you're wrapping your whole business up in someone else's identity. Has its pitfalls. Right. Let me show you what we've made. These will now need. They still need a bail making for each one, and they will also need machine polishing, which gives us an idea of what the surface finish will look like, so then we can iron out, inspect them, buff out any. I mean, they are any minor imperfections that would. Which for us would be major imperfections at that stage, but when I say major imperfections, it makes it sound like there's a. When I say major imperfections, I mean visible to the eye. We want them to look perfect under magnification. So any marks that are noticeable to the eye, well, machine polish them just because when they're when they're freshly soldered, they've got it's the remains of fire scale, I guess. There's fire scale and fire stain. Stain is subsurface, surface and subsurface oxides, which you need to remove. Fire scale is effectively refers to the, I guess before it's pickled, the flux. And then afterwards, I suppose it is kind of scaly, flaky, the surface. Not flaky, that's the flux, but yeah, it masks imperfections. This sort of satin, this rough satin finish masks imperfections, so we need to machine polish them so we can see if there are. There may not be any, but once you've polished them, you also get a good look at the solder joints as well. Sometimes they just don't look right, they need fining to even them out. And I've done it in previous live streams, but yeah, 6 there, tonight's live stream, making a little dent in the cleaning of the corner of the bench. So thanks for watching, and we'll call it a night there, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.